Green will be booking them as well, so we're seeing them a lot more of that as well.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited. I love a good band and I love good music. So
We'll invite you out.
Yeah.
definitely, we'll promote it and get people to come out as well.
Awesome.
So very cool. How can people find you?
We have StaceyBlades.com, LetItRock.com. Then there's Facebook.com/StaceyBlades, and there's also Stacey Blades Music on Facebook as well.
Nice.
It's like
So it's pretty easy to find you online.
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
where's
Pretty easy.
Waldo? You can just type my name in Google. I just when people ask about.
Who would you like to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Weird Al.
Wow, that's a great question.
He's one of your friends, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw him on your website.
Wow, I've got to work. I'd love to work with Stephen Piercy. When he just played in Vegas not too long ago, and we hung out and we were having a few drinks, and it's like you get a few drinks. Hey, let's
Yep.
work some music
Hell
together.
yeah.
And the next day it's
Hell
like, what were we talking about?
Right.
That might be cool.
You changed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Somebody you'd like to work with that has passed away.
Oh, I know this one. I can answer it. R.R.
Yeah, well, that's
Randy Rhoads.
Randy Rhoads.
he's really my favorite guitar player. It's
Yeah.
absolutely changed my life. So there's for going back to people passing away. I talked about Andy Johns. I was actually the last person to work with him before he died. We
Wow.
were doing an original project with a guy from New Orleans, and while we were recording, he went into the hospital, and 10 days later, he passed away. So
Wow.
that kind of I'll always hold that dearly. That I was able to have that time with him, and of course, the last LA Guns record, Hollywood Forever. We worked with Andy on that in beginning of 2012. And then I did a session with a young actor right after that, and then we did this other session when he passed away. So I was fortunate in those 2 years to get to work with Andy before he passed
He had the
away.
best stories.
Just
the best stories.
funny guy.
I love that. I love that when I've interviewed a lot of people, and it's funny. You interview like legends in comedy, and the stories they have compared to the guys that are still working the road. They're like,
They're making their stories.
It's like night and day,
Yeah.
But you sit down with. I was fortunate enough to get to do a phone interview with Bill Cosby, and the funny thing about the whole thing was when they called and set it up, they're like, you get 10 minutes. Well, you can't talk to Bill Cosby in 10 minutes.
He takes 10 minutes to answer a question, right?
Yeah, and so the first question wasn't even a question. I just said the first thing I ever heard the first bit I ever heard you do was Noah. And he just started talking about that's what got him into going to school so he could learn how to write better. And then it's funny because I ended up getting 42 minutes
Oh, nice.
Wow.
out of the interview. So instead of the 10 that
That's great.
I know that
allotted.
I know that the PR people it's 10
legend.
minutes so they can hang up if they think it's going horribly.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean,
Give themselves an out.
there was one other one. I interviewed Spike Jonze's drummer from the City Slickers years ago when I was they were celebrating the 25th anniversary of Spike's death or whatever, and so somebody was like, "Would you want to interview Joe Siracusa?" And I was like, "Sure," because there was only 2 guys left, and I was like, "Yeah," and I went in there and I said, "So what was it like to drum for Spike?" And that's the only question I asked, and he just let it fly. I mean, and he was so descriptive about what it was like working for him. I mean, you could almost visualize yourself walking into this smoky club,
Yeah.
and just saying, "Hey, I'm going to audition for you." And that's it. So when I edited the interview, I was like, coming up, he also talks about, it's
This
like
and that.
it was one of the easiest interviews, but it was so cool because he just had these amazing stories,
Yeah.
and then when that band broke up, he was still very bitter towards Spike, and when Spike played at Disneyland and he was having trouble doing his famous glugs and all this that he did with his voice, he goes, "Yeah, Spike couldn't do it," and I was so bitter that I could have went up and did it. And he goes, "But I didn't because I was angry." And he goes, 3 days later he died.
Oh.
And so he said, so he had that resentment, for a long time. But so that was cool. You never know what you're gonna get when you walk into an interview.
Yeah,
That's
right?
cool. just to share this story. This is a great story. Andy would always, well, we were making records. He would always talk about his time with Zeppelin and the Stones and stuff like that. So, I mean, this is the guy who sat, at the desk while Stairway to Heaven was, being recorded.
Right.
So we were like, well, what was it like while you guys were, while they were laying down those tracks and you were engineering
And it's always because you're always excited to hear it, and they're like, "Oh, it was all right."
Yeah.
It's like,
so he's looking at Jimmy Page through the glass window into the recording room while Jimmy's getting ready to lay down that guitar solo on that song, which is a fantastic lead. And he said, he was staring at Jimmy through the glass, and Jimmy's like, why are you looking at me like that? He's like, I don't know, what do you mean? And they both had this banter going on for 10 minutes, like, stop looking at me. So you kind of try to visualize that moment while, this historical recording is being made.
They're playing Stop Looking at Me, Stop Touching Me.
But I remember the summer of 2009, I was in between tour runs, and my buddy was staying at the Sunset Marquis Hotel on Sunset in West Hollywood, and we were laying out by the pool, and we were all having beers and sitting on lawn chairs, and I see this older guy with white hair and a ponytail come into the pool area. And I'm like, wow, that guy looks really familiar, and I just thought nothing of it, and I lay back down, and then a minute later, I just shot up out of my chair. I'm like, oh my God, that's Jimmy Page. And I was like, dude, so that's Page, man. And he's sitting about 15, 20 feet from me, and they're like, go over and talk to him. I'm like, oh, I'm too nervous. This is like, they're like, no, you got to go say hi, and I'm staring at him, and he's staring back at me.
It's one of those opportunities, man. If you don't do it, you're never
so
going to
get
get
it.
it
So I'm like, okay,
again.
let me chug this beer. Good. And it was like, walked over, and I said, hey, Jimmy, I'm Stacey from LA Guns. I just wanted to shake your hand and tell you it's such an honor to meet you, and thank you for so many years of great music. And he's like, oh, I love Stacey, I'm all you, man. And then he goes, so, Stacey, have you talked to Andy Jones lately? And I was just like, my eyes, I'm like, oh my God, this guy knows who I am. And it was like, my eyes rolled back in my head.
Yeah. Jimmy Page knows who I am. Oh my God, and, I've made it.
And that's cool because it's like, I'll remember that half hour. And I sat and talked to him for half an hour and joking around, and it's like, that's so cool when you meet somebody iconic like that who's a big influence and stuff like that, and that was a cool moment. But anyways, that's my Led Zeppelin story.
I met Alice Cooper, and I started crying and stuttering and handshaking, and I was the total dork and scared him away.
When we played at the Hard Rock Casino, Alice was there having lunch because we were doing the Motley Crue Alice Cooper after party, and it was right across the street from the arena. And I got to know Alice a little bit we played a few shows with him in 2012, and I know the guys in the band well. So we walked over, and he was there, and his wife's lovely too, Cheryl, and we've got known her. And this was, again, another moment. I hadn't seen him in a year and a half, and he comes over, he's like, hey, Stace, how you doing, man? And I was just like, that is so cool that, he remembered me, but remembered my name, and then, I introduced Paula to him, and Paula's just like,
I fell apart,
shaking.
Never had that reaction with anyone. I've lived in Hollywood for 20 years, and I couldn't.
That's Alice Cooper. How can you know?
Growing up, I was a big fan of the Dr. Demento show, and that's why I wanted to do radio and stuff. Yeah. And so I used to call in all the time, and he's the one who got me. He gave me the name Crazy J. And
he gave you the moniker.
And then there was a college kid that made a movie, and he got Dr. Demento to do the voiceover, and it was this real cheesy B movie called Lobster Man from Mars. And so he was giving tickets out to this midnight showing, and you were going to be able to go. And so when I called in, they were like, you want to go? We know you want to go. And I was like, this is the first time I was going to get to meet Demento for the first time. So I was like 15. Wasn't able to drive, so my dad had to drive me to LA. At like 10:30, 11 o'clock. No, I lived in LA at the time.
Oh, okay.
But so we we drive down there, and we're sitting in this little coffee shop, and all of a sudden I see this guy walking there. He is in his tuxedo and top hat. I'm like, hey, there he is. And we go in there to get ready to sit down in the movie and everything. And there's all the reserved seats that won. And my dad's like, go over there and talk to him. I'm like, no. No, I can't do that. And he's like, I didn't drive you all the way down here for you not to say hi. And I'm like, I just can't. It was like, here's this guy that I've listened to for years on the radio. Now I'm getting the chance to meet him. And so that's the only opportunity you're going to get. So I finally went down there and I was like, hey, Dr. D, it's Crazy Jay. And he was like, oh, nice to meet you. And I was like, whew. And now every time I meet somebody, like, it's somebody big name or something, my dad's like, yeah, but remember that time I had to drag you down and go meet Dr. Demento?
You're like, you have to remind me that every time.
Yeah, thanks.
I like the Robin Williams album behind your head. Is that a...
That is the actual album, yeah. It's actually hung there for a very long time, not just recently.
It's been there for a while.
It's been up there for a long time.
Wow.
But more people seem to notice it now.
Of course. Of course.
That was probably one of his better stand-up albums.
Wow.
It's good stuff.
How young he is.
So... But awesome to meet you guys, and we definitely want to be in touch and see when you're performing in town. Want to come out and
for sure.
Check it out. I love a good rock band.
Absolutely.
Have you guys seen Raiding the Rock Vault yet?
Just a little bit of it, and we need to go because I'm friends with some of those guys.
I think they've revamped it too since we saw it.
Since John Payne left,
Yes.
Yeah, they've changed it quite a bit. Yeah. But it's still good. It's still rocking. Paul Sorrentino, all those guys.
He's a great vocalist, awesome, and Robin McCauley.
That guy's got some pipes.
Yeah,
and even Robin, for their age, man, these guys have pipes.
Paul's
on them.
always been amazing. I remember when I saw Dio in '85, Sacred Heart tour, and Rough Cut opened up for them, and I never heard of Rough Cut. They had just come out,
right?
And they opened up for Dio, and they were awesome. And I'm like, it was like grandstand show, 15,000 people. It was just spectacular.
Paul really showed his pipes off in here when he sang "At Last" by Etta James a cappella.
Wow!
What? I was like, holy crap!
You're
He's got a voice.
Yeah, he's really great. He's amazing. Yeah. So, but thank you guys so much for being here. It was awesome.
Thank you, and check out evergreenmusicnetwork.com.
Like them on Facebook. I already have.
Like them on Facebook. Awesome. Thank you.
And Let It Rock. RAWK.
Yeah, there you go.
Rock. And again, guys, it was awesome. And we'll take a break.
Thanks, Jay.
And we'll be right back.
And now, without further ado, here it comes. It's time for the Rockin' Comedy Show's Funnies That
I used to come here a lot. I dated a girl in Lake Orion. Ryan, what's it called? Yeah, she was an asshole. She's fine. I'm sure she's fine. It was like a 3-year thing. It was a big one. I'm from originally from New York, and you guys are like New York, but very different. And I like that. Like, I feel like I kind of fit in here, even though I don't at all.